the jab, or Jesus Christ, babe, what's happened to you?
I don't know. I was doing my live and I felt fine. Then I went to the loo and I feel a bit weird.
I mean, you look a bit peaky around the eyes.
Mark!
And around your hair.
What do you mean?
Well, just here.
Where?
Just
Mark!
You've got a bit purple around the eyes. Yeah. What's that noise? What is that behind you, actually?
Weird. I feel shaky. I don't
wax.
feel like myself, Mark. I feel all rubbery.
Get it off.
God, I tell you what.
It's quite claustrophobic in there.
You can't shout in there.
No, it's nice. Put it back on.
It comes back
Put
into
it
your
back
ear.
on.
I've hurt my ear.
Put it back on, baby.
How do you wear these things and scream at people?
Oh, I love it. It's just, it's an occupational hazard.
I'm back, guys.
She's
from
back.
the brink.
And you're feeling remarkably well.
No, I don't feel 100%. But because I felt so shit yesterday, you know when you felt really ill and then you feel a bit better, so you want to overdo it.
Yeah. So
I've got overexcited.
You're going to keel over in about an hour. Yeah.
Cheer.
She's running around
Oh
like
my God, I mustn't forget. I've got to do an interview this morning.
Yeah.
Oh shit, hang on, I better just check what time it is.
Mark, you can now book your COVID jab. Do it. It's the 50s turn. Yippee, Deborah
Yippee! Hang on, I've just
morning,
got to check
everyone.
what time
Do you wanna...
Sorry, just quickly, and I'll be with you.
Morning, everyone. Morning, Raspberry Mojito Girl, Sky Elise, Lucy Spacania. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy
Maura
St.
Doyle,
Patrick's
Katie.
Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. There usually, or used to be, a sort of St. Patrick's Day parade, didn't there, in New York and what have you? What will people be doing to celebrate? Pouring a Guinness here or there?
We're going to do a little Irish dance.
Could we have an Irish theme to the cook-along tonight?
Put on some music now, let's do a little jig.
Could we have an Irish theme to the cook-along tonight?
Yeah, we will. We'll do something Irish.
Something Irish. Maybe I could stumble around in the kitchen.
To our Irish viewers, what would you like Mark to cook in the members area today? Can we have a little music?
It will take me time, so why don't you hold the fort whilst I do that?
Oh look, lots of we know that we have a lot of viewers in Ireland, so we do want to fully celebrate with you today. It must be incredibly frustrating. It's another one of those events. Morning, Sarah Beckett. Stay to the end because we'll sing you a welcome song. Sarah Beckett, just join the members area. Potato. You want him to cook something with potato? Oh, I know what you could cook.
What's that?
I've got an idea.
What?
Can't cook Irish stew, Lucy. It'd take hours.
Oh.
Now, it has to be something you can cook within half an hour.
Okay, so for a minute, I'm just going to have to kill your... Oh, we have a new member. Let me just write that down.
Yeah.
We have
Sarah Beckett.
Catherine Preston from yesterday as well, that Nadia will try and sing in.
Oh, what do you mean try and sing?
Post-COVID.
I will sing beautifully
Well, I do feel that COVID has wrecked your vocal cords a bit.
Oh, God, guys, I've got to tell you about the vaccine. But first we're going to do an Irish jig.
Okay, well, let's lead with... So I'm just going to turn you off here, so we've only got you up there for a minute. Here we go.
They don't know they're there as well.
No, I know they don't, but I do.
Right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
And for all of you out there...
And you, Mark, because I'm with a vaccine. I can't do it big. I've still got a weird stomach. Is that Irish? They've got to do it like that with a canister. Oh, Are you allowed to hold your boobs? There we go. Happy Patrick's Day. Oh, it's such a jolly tune.
Oh.
Must be so hard for you. You're all dying to go down the pub or round your families or your friends. Could it possibly be a super spreader event today? No, let's stay positive. Are you breathing okay?
I'm all right. There's a sort of pain that runs
Tell
from
you
there.
what, that really did me in.
Oh, Heather Rooney was so impressed with our Irish dancing, she's joined. Hello, Heather.
Stay till the end,
Just
Heather,
making
because
a
we'll be
note.
singing you a welcome song.
So,
Oh, God.
so let's start with your... I mean, obviously, we've vlogged a lot of Nadia's recovery from the vaccination.
It was lovely, actually. The lovely woman who vaccinated me allowed me to film the whole thing.
Yes, she did. And what's wonderful as well is we've got Lisa running in tandem.
Because she had hers at exactly the same time as me. How weird is that with neither of us knowing? Except I did turn up a week early.
And whilst I was uploading the footage that you shot of you getting the vaccine from your phone, I did stumble across a photo of you and Lisa, obviously, which you'd taken her. It's very funny. It's very
We've
funny.
just kept sending photos to each other all the last 2 days from our bed. Just going...
Do you think we're going to have a classic situation where I don't get, because I don't suffer things worse than you. I'm such a good patient. I don't get ill. I don't moan. I don't.
Listen,
groan.
the thing is, I've just been reading an article about it actually, because a couple of other friends of ours had it on the same day as well, and one did hardly got anything, another one went down like a ton of bricks. It's just an absolute lottery. They do say that the
Sorry, yeah, carry on.
the younger you are, I think you get a stronger response. Like over 70s,
No, I think
hardly get a response. No, I
Yeah,
just
that's
read
what I
it.
mean,
Hardly
yeah.
get many over 70s hardly get a response. But
Tim, my postman, who's extraordinarily fit, and I mean
he
that.
does 30,000 steps a day.
And I mean that in a, I kind of fancy him sort of way. No, he was off for
Why
2 days.
did you even say
Because I
that?
said he was fit.
Oh.
Play on the word fit.
Oh.
Yeah, he's fit. Sounded like I was saying he was fit.
Oh.
But he is actually fit. Insofar
He's
as,
a
yeah,
lovely
he
old
took 2
postman.
days off. He took 2 days off, and he never takes days off.
Yeah,
So, whack Tim.
I couldn't. I had to do an interview yesterday, and
Nikki
I had
O'Keefe, we did, yes.
to pull it up from my very bottom of my boots. And still now, just doing that jig, I'm now like my whole body's aching.
Well, we're
I'm
going to
gonna
do
take a paracetamol.
We're going to stay till the end because we're going to sign off with an Irish jig, and we're going to go full tilt.
Lisa's kind of going along the same way as me, hun. She's like, but what I would say, what's really important to say, I feel joyful that I've had it. I had the Oxford AstraZeneca, so did Lisa, so did all our friends that have had them in the last couple of days. I think what's been going on in the media is terrifying, really, when you actually look into it,
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
How, I mean, the
Don't be
relationship.
put off.
I mean, even the European Medicines Agency or whatever it is said this is nonsense.
Yeah. Don't be scared. It's no worse than a really bad cold or something like that. Don't be scared about it. And just think, this is what I was thinking.
I'm going to book it, Leggy Blonde.
I was thinking, wow, I do not want COVID. Because if that's just a little scratch of it, imagine. So I really, 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 and all my friends that have had it, they all feel so relieved they've had it done. We're on our way. And it's really lovely. After you have your vaccine, the vaccinator says, congratulations.
Well, yeah, I won't even tell you what she got given. Josh Pittard asks, what was the needle like?
Oh God, you know what? She did it, and I didn't even know she'd done it.
There you go.
So thin, the needle.
There you
Didn't
go.
feel even a scratch.
There you go.
So
there you go. Nothing to worry about. But I have to confess, I just wanted to wait and see how Nadia and Lisa coped with it, metabolized it, what to expect before I thought, you know what, I don't have to yet. I'm young. I need to let the more vulnerable go ahead of me.
Yeah, he
the
was
older,
all right.
The more vulnerable,
She's
and
been-
I'll just stay in the car.
she's
Thank you
been
very
very
much.
funny, Lisa, though, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's been very funny.
We filmed our FaceTimes.
So a number of
for the
people-
vlog.
well, a couple
if you're
of-
new to the channel, by the way, if you just come over from Instagram, you might not know what we're talking about when we say vlog, because lots of people have never visited YouTube. We hadn't before we started a YouTube channel.
What's YouTube?
And basically, the vlog is our reality show that we've been doing over the last couple of years. There's hundreds of episodes there that you can tune into whenever you feel.
And I'll be extending all of your kindest regards to Nanny Di in her rather dramatic appearance in last night's vlog. If you haven't
Oh,
seen it,
God.
go over and check it out. She didn't
was
want us to
awful.
tell you. She was like, she
That
said, if
was
there's any purpose
awful.
to me falling over, well, she didn't say it like that because she's not Nanny Thelma, but she said, oh my God, if there's any purpose to falling over, please show everyone. Anyway, her flat is a trip hazard. Many of you have
really is.
identified this.
It's like
We
when my
are
dad
on
wears-
her all the time about
It's
it.
like when my dad wears these stupid shoes. It's so annoying.
Oh yeah, do you remember when he skewered his foot?
Oh, don't.
Does anyone else have the oldies in their family are more rebellious than the teenagers?
So annoying. We're going to be like that. We're going to be a nightmare.
Ellen, get rid of the killer fan. Leggy Blonde Jen, a lot of people are asking about, did we see the Patsy Palmer? Well, Leggy Blonde Jen, you call it a strop-off. I didn't see it like that.
No, I
myself.
didn't at all.
I thought it was, I'm just going to throw it out there, as a recovering alcoholic, I thought it was a deeply insensitive strap. A strap, or an aston as we used to call it in the old days, is what you put underneath someone to describe who they are and what they are. And they put addict to well-being guru. And it wasn't in inverted quotes. It wasn't clearly stated that it was sort of a reference to a self-description even. It was a really reductive summation of a person. And she decided to go. And do you know what?
Do you know, she's such a lovely
Yeah.
girl. Obviously, I know her, and it's just, she's such a, and she's worked so hard on herself, and it's all right to have a past.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all been so well documented about her addiction. She doesn't need to keep talking about it.
Someone just said it's a quote from a book. This is a disingenuous defence because there were no inverted commas. It was not used as if it was a quote from a book, and whoever created
Do we know
that,
it's a quote from
well, and people keep saying it's a quote from a book, but I mean, I can't see her necessarily having. She may have talked of her life and described her life. Now, that's not to say that that topic isn't there for discussion,
Yeah.
but in any interview setup, you don't pull someone on and essentially, not suggesting there was an ensnaring here, but sort of tabloidize them without their awareness. I mean, because you've got to get a release form from them. So she reserved her right to go off air. I mean, what I would suggest is it requires more attention to detail in the production and prep to an interview than just chucking someone up. So
I did think, it made me think about so many other situations where I wanted to just go, do you know what? I don't think I want to do this. Have you ever done that with anything, guys? Have you ever gone, do you know what? I think I'm out of this, actually. And to do that and not to lose your rag instead and just go, sorry, this isn't right for me in this moment. I just think that's...
Yeah.
Have you ever done that in like a big situation?
I've often...
Well, you did when you had that big job as an executive producer.
Oh, what? Sorry, I thought you were talking about being interviewed. I mean, I'm
No,
always doing the
anything. No,
interviewing.
any situation so that it's relatable to people at home. Where
Oh,
you've
God.
just
Yeah,
suddenly
no.
gone, do you know what? This actually doesn't feel right.
Well, no.
and
At
I'm just gonna-
ITV, I mean, bizarrely, they offered me sort of one of the highest executive producer jobs at such a young age. And they sent me the letter and they said, you're responsible for all these series. I came into work for 2 days. Lovely Ralph, who was my boss. I sat in the I said, Ralph, I went back into his office and said, Ralph, I said, I don't want to tell other people how to make programmes. I want to make programmes. And he went, please don't tell me you're resigning. I said, well, I'm not resigning. I said, but I don't want to be... He said, hang on. He said, no one says no to an executive producer job. I said, I don't want it. He said, that was the shortest EP job we've ever had in the business. So I changed. I went back to making stuff. I couldn't sit there, pontificating like an idiot to other people. So yeah, that was 2 days.
I suppose I did the same with the One Show. It's like,
Yeah,
no, it doesn't feel right.
yeah.
Everyone was trying to convince me to do it. And it was just like, and people were saying things like, but you'll have this budget and you'll have your own car and you'll have this and you'll have that. And I kept saying, yeah, but it doesn't feel right.
But
it doesn't feel right. And then do you remember an executive said to me, how would you feel if one day you turn the television on and because I did the original pilot, and there's somebody else in your chair and I went, relieved. And she went, oh my God, you really don't want to do it.
But in many regards, that's my attitude to the TV business. I've worked in it for many, many years, producing, directing, working for other companies, making your own shows. And actually, the freedom that one is being able to forge for oneself in making content for yourself, which is the plan with this channel, is a breath of fresh air. Do you know what I mean? So I think you can make these decisions. They can either be sudden decisions to stop doing something, which always get a bit of kind of attention, or you can graduate in a graduated fashion, work your way out of it, if you know what I mean. So I personally...
Faith Goodman says Patsy's moved on from being that. Yeah.
I
mean, it's like...
And if you want to, and just to say, if you want to use that quote, run it past her.
Yeah, I
You
just
think that is just silly. It's just silly.
I'm sure nobody that did it had the intention of it, and they will genuinely be upset that they've upset her.
And they pulled it down as soon as she said it. Did you see that?
As soon as she said it. But I really felt for her. She's done. She's worked so hard. She's built this life for herself. She's worked really hard on herself. And and the thing is, you cannot even imagine what that level of fame was like in EastEnders at that time, and to be an 18, 19-year-old girl with 20 million people watching, to be so recognised, and so it wasn't. It's not easy. Yeah. It wasn't easy on that group.
No.
It was just
No, actually, you're right. I mean, I remember doing. I think you were on the same trip. I remember doing a press trip to Disneyland Paris, and Patsy was there, and loads of people were on the train. Oh God, we were with the sort of...
She's great fun, isn't she?
The society girls.
She's a good woman.
They were all lovely. But
She's a good woman.
But what I'm trying to say is, I remember on that trip, the level of fame back then for EastEnders was...
It was
and
insane.
It was around the time you were in.
It was absolutely insane.
Absolutely
Everything
ludicrous.
watched, everything spoken about, everything. And from a young person, as a young person as well. I mean, I always say I was really glad I went into EastEnders at the age that I did. I think I was 33, something like that. And I'd done a lot of like traipsing around in vans, doing like theatre and doing all sorts of stuff. So I was just a bit like, wow, God, it if I'd gone in at a younger age, God knows what would have happened, honestly. It's such a change to your life, it's nuts.
And also, you know, the whole thing around addiction and everything is like, you have to kind of approach the topic when someone has talked about it from the perspective of that's not all they are.
Yeah,
and you need to run it past.
exactly.
So I'm happy to talk about those subjects, but if I was just put up as recovering alcoholic and that was it, I'd be a bit, do you mind?
Yeah.
Not just that.
Yeah.
Lots of people asking, did we see the Roman Kemp documentary
No.
about suicide last night? No,
No.
I didn't. No, Amazing Young Man. No, we didn't. I was editing.
Oh, I
upstairs. No.
love Roman. I love Roman so much.
Yeah.
He's he's been on the show a couple of times. Of course, I know Martin well because I was in EastEnders with him, and I think Martin's been on Loose Women. He was on the other day, I think 22 times or something.
Wow, he's almost
He's a loose man.
woman.
No, we call him a
He's
loose
a loose
man.
woman.
They are absolutely what you see is
Yeah.
what you get.
Yeah, they do strike me as
proper
the real
family.
deal.
Oh, it's just lovely. No, we'll have to
so
watch
we'll
that.
watch
I
that on
didn't-
catch up. But we are watching the Caroline Flack documentary tonight. I
Yeah.
think someone's asking what's it on. Is it on Channel 4? I think it might be on Channel 4. I'm not entirely certain. But we will be watching it and we'll be talking about the issues raised by it
Afterwards.
later tonight. So
Yeah.
yes,
Live
that'll be on the
afterwards
channel.
here.
Yeah. So do join us for that,
Guys, hit the subscribe button if you're new to here and the notification bell. So, for instance, when we're doing that live tonight, if you've hit the notification bell, it will tell you that we're live. YouTube will alert you.
So just returning to some of the news stories that are trotting around and trending. So Sarah Everard's story obviously is still very much up front in the press. No shit, Shylock. We were kind of sort of saying this. Give boys lessons on how to respect women and girls, says Minister. It was the first thing that struck us as absolutely critical. But Kit Malthouse has made the suggestion. Is he the policing minister or?
I've never heard of him.
No, sex and relations.
Never heard of
Yeah, policing minister Kit Malthouse has made the suggestion that they teach respect for women and girls as part of their sex and relationship education at school. I personally think it should be put in citizenship.
I do.
I don't know why.
I do. And I think girls and boys should be in the class together if they're in a mixed school, because I think...
Because I think so much of sex and relationship education is all about sniggering and laughing and all that kind of stuff, whereas I think this is not a sniggering and laughing matter.
But I also think for people that take umbrage and say, well, my boy would never do that, and my boy, da-da-da. I think those lessons will be good for boys that come from a good... like a family that discuss these things and have respect for women and know that they're a very important part of the conversation, because not all boys are lucky enough to grow up in a home where they're getting positive messages about the way to treat women and deal with them. I mean, what if you're growing up and your father is a complete, I don't know, sexist pig himself? How is that boy supposed to learn? So I think it's really, and also if your boy is like, you know, a really decent boy who doesn't talk about women in a really derogatory way, it's really important, because it's very difficult for them, and we're going to do a podcast on this tomorrow, and we want lots of those boys, if they can, to message into us. I'm going to put a post on my Instagram, so if any of your sons would like to contribute, we'd love that, and what it feels like for them over this last week. And of course they can always be anonymous. But hang on, let me just finish this one. But it's important, the conversation is important for those boys as well that know the right way to behave around women, because it's very difficult for them to be in a group of other boys that are talking in a really derogatory, or as the word is now, this is what my daughter's telling me, rapey boys.
Yeah.
That's actually a thing where you've got rapey boys, and we're asking men to be braver and to speak up against, you know, that kind of language. But that's actually a really difficult thing to ask people to do. I don't know if I'd be brave enough to do it. So I think that's why it's important, whatever your son is, to be able to have that conversation.
Absolutely. I would have really been enriched by the prospect of being shown how to liaise and deal with other men. Because that's one of the,
when
as
you're
a man,
uncomfortable with
when
the
you're a man,
conversation.
because when you're one fish, I mean, a number of comments came through. We did a How to Stay Married yesterday about this, and there were some comments coming through there that yes, you know, people know of men who've tried to sort of push back against larger groups of men, and they've just been pilloried, marginalised, and then bullied. Now, that doesn't, you know, you could argue, well, it's collateral damage, men have to go through this, but everyone's got their own individual experience, and if we're trying to understand what disincentivises men to challenge men, that's what it's going to be. So I
Yeah.
think finding ways to talk between men is really important. I also think
Yeah, exactly, Greg Allen. Boys need to be given the skills and confidence to call out other boys.
Absolutely. In a way that doesn't mean you get
Yeah.
your face smashed in.
I think that parents that feel offended for their boys with this conversation.
I can understand.
I know this might seem. I think they're missing the point.
Yeah.
Because actually, this is about protecting everybody and making a better world for everybody, including the boys that are clued up and know absolutely right from wrong.
I thought
because Mark is like that. You know, Mark was brought up to completely respect and to. You're very aware of how threatened a woman can feel out on the street and all of that, and yet. You absolutely say you would love this conversation.
Oh, God,
you would
absolutely.
love this conversation when you were a kid.
Absolutely. And there was a really interesting, I don't want to get into the personalities, etc., but there was a really interesting, I don't know if you saw it, Twitter spat, a sort of disagreement between, bizarrely, Ulrika Johnson and Davina McCall. And Davina McCall was very much coming from the position of, let's not villainize, boys, men's mental health. That was the first point. And I thought Ulrika Johnson, I've never thought I'd agree with Ulrika Johnson about anything, but I agreed with her. Her point back was, we're not disagreeing about that, but that's not the discussion now.
Yeah.
We're not saying men's mental health isn't important.
Yeah.
But don't use it as a flag up right at the point that we're trying to have a conversation about something else, because you can forever stop any progress by flagging up something at the wrong point.
I think what's happened is I think some mums have gone to lioness, and I get that.
Yeah.
We can all just impulsively think this is a point where I have to protect my sons because the finger is being pointed at them. But I really don't think that's the case.
Yeah. Karen Hula, I asked my husband if he does anything to make women less scared of him if he walked past them, and he always walks past them, crosses the road, or talks on the phone. Yeah.
See,
I mean,
I love that, Karen. Will you give your husband a big hug from me?
Rushing round people, I think, is good. Though, of course, it has that combined potential effect of sounding like someone's rushing behind you. It's like when I do runs. If I'm doing a run, and this is the most often circumstance, because more often than not, we often drive and we're getting public transport. But if I do a run, I will always, you can see up ahead. So about a good 100 metres ahead of someone on the road, if I'm running at twilight, I will run on the opposite side. I'll literally cross the road and run on the opposite side of the road. Because I think to myself, the sound of someone running behind you.
Oh my God, I'm
surely,
literally in terror. I'm gripped. I can't breathe. It's just...
Yeah.
I can't be walking with a man behind, anyone walking behind me.
Yeah.
Leap here, I'm a man, and whenever a conversation is had over male violence and sexual assault, I have never been sensitive to it, as if it's an attack on my gender. I find it odd how people do say to
Yeah, it is odd. Yeah, and also I would say to, again, parents feeling protective of their boys, we're not actually attacking your boys. People aren't attacking your boys.
No.
We're talking about a generalised
If anything, I think we're supporting your boys. I think that the boys that know the difference between right and wrong need this conversation as much as everybody else. If we're not all part of this, nothing is going to change. And as I said on the podcast that went up day before yesterday, and I actually feel...
You're right. Oh, sweetie.
I want to feel like there's hope for change. I really want to feel like there's hope for change. We've got 4 girls between us, and over the last week, not just with our girls, but with my friends, with our own memories of things, I do feel hopeless. I do feel hopeless. Girls here, women here will know that when we share, when girls sit together and they share things that have happened to them, we all hardly flinch. We hardly flinch anymore because nearly every one of us, not all, nearly every one of us has had something happen. And maybe many times things have happened. We forget the amount of things that have happened. And I just don't know how it's going to change. And people getting angry about the gender thing shuts down the hope even more for me.
Well, one of the other narratives that often gets sort of trotted around in the press is sexual assault and rape figures go down. This is such a skewed and fake bit of statistical news. Some stupid number, something like 84% of all sexual harassment incidents and rapes don't get reported.
Not anyone I know, for anything that has happened to them, has anyone reported it.
Yeah.
I have never reported any of the things that have happened to me. Honest to God, who knows somebody that's actually reported it?
Yeah.
And why do we not report? We need to just start reporting everything so they actually go, Oh, right, okay, this is actually a bloody problem.
Because
but we don't
you're-
because we think nothing will fucking happen and we're right.
And we have proof of that when we had the police ourselves do nothing about something. So
Almost laughed.
yeah, almost laughed and questioned whether what we saw with our own eye bubbles was real. It drives me nuts. Yes, Sabrina Neal, I noticed you're popping the breaking news around the Barrymore pool death. We are going to be talking about that shortly. The other thing I just wanted to add as well around the
Thank you,
education,
Sabrina.
it's only me has a really good point to make. I do think there needs to be a conversation about what it is to be a man in modern times as well. I totally agree. As for years we've been telling girls they can do anything, but the convo to boys hasn't changed a lot.
That's really true.
And I think there's another
And I think it's confusing for them, and I feel for the boys.
and there's another sort of slightly nuanced detail to this about going back to educating kids at school. You've got to bear in mind there are countless young girls and women coming out of homes where the sexual gender politics are potentially up the creek. So they're not even necessarily aware of treatment
exactly.
or cultural treatment.
And then
that's wrong.
they're not prepared for this new dawning, hopefully, that's coming. And people turn around and go, you can't say that. What are you doing? And it's not their fault. They haven't been educated. They're not in the home.
So it works both ways.
It's not all right to go, whoa, God, you know.
It works both ways. You can have boys that really don't understand the nuance around sort of harassment and treatment of the opposite sex, but you can also have girls not understanding the new. It's like, for example, the tolerance amongst lots of young girls for certain, I won't go into the details, but certain expectations sexually from boys due to the availability of porn, you know. So, you know, some of those girls won't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It's just what boys want. It's just what happens. It's just the thing. But it's not just the thing. You know, this is where my favourite word, creep. This is where creep creeps into things, where our moral compass shifts so far that way that we can't even get it back to where it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the worry. We're doing a whole Confessions of a Modern Parent about this, and remarkably, my eldest, Izzy, who has been talking a lot on her Instagram about it, is contributing to Confessions alongside Maddie to talk about her experiences and her feelings around this. So,
Oh my God. Todd the Bunny, when we were drugged with date rape drug, it was reported to the police and the police just said, how do we know you're not his ex making it up to get back at him? Even the bouncers saw it happen.
I can't even fathom that, Todd the Bunny. I haven't heard from you for a while, Todd the Bunny. Hope you're well.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's awful.
I mean, I follow somebody called Alex Like London on Instagram, and she'd posted something on this topic yesterday, or day before yesterday. And she posted some of the comments that she got back from men. Oh my God, it was so depressing. It was so depressing. All things like, well, what do you expect when girls wear short skirts? What do you expect her to asking for it, asking just one after another, and you just think, oh my God. It was so depressing. I wanted to go and put my head in a bucket of cold water.
And just to reiterate, this doesn't just happen on the street. There was a case on LBC I was listening to yesterday, and I could hear, I forget the name of the presenter, was it Matt Fry or James Nockety? I can't remember. And a woman rang in and said she went to her doctor's for an examination. The doctor sexually abused her in the examination. She reported it. And guess what the first question was she was asked by the police?
Please, don't.
What kind of knickers were you wearing?
Oh my God.
Elijah, this made me think
Fucking
about all the
hell.
things that I brushed off when I was younger, thought it was the norm and didn't talk about it exactly.
Thank you.
Elijah.
All the things that you just go, or you just go, all the times that you go, oh, you know what I mean. Women know what I mean. Emma Staple, we know it's not all men, but does that mean we should shut up and not speak about it? That's how it makes me feel. It's too hard to relive our horrible experiences just to be shut down all the time.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And look what ended up happening with the Me Too movement. Look what ended up happening. And that was a lot of women played a part in that. Oh God, we've had enough now. Oh God, are people just going to keep going on about it? Well, maybe we should just keep going on about it.
Absolutely. So a couple of other, it's very important conversation. And it can't, as I say, we're going to be talking about it tomorrow. It'll be up on Friday, Confessions of a Modern Parent. Because it presents all sorts of dilemmas to parents. And of course there are dilemmas for the kids, you know, in terms of what do they want from us parents? I mean, it's interesting when you ask your children, what would you like us to do? And you realise quite quickly we're next to useless, really. There's only so much we can do. Education. The Barrymore pool arrest is a big story breaking at the moment. So a man has been arrested over the murder. You know, there was a murder at the entertainer's home in 2001, and detectives
Was he ever
investigate.
charged for it?
No. Detectives
Barrymore never was.
No. Detectives investigating the indecent assault and murder of a man at the home of entertainer have arrested a 50-year-old man in Cheshire.
Good God.
The person was arrested in connection with the indecent assault and murder of Stuart Lubbock. Mr. Lubbock's father, Terry, 76, sadly, who I think is terminally ill, if I've read correctly somewhere. There is so much going on in my head, I can't get my head around it. Of course I'm happy, of course this is good news. It's been 20 years, this has nearly killed me.
God. He was arrested, Barrymore, but never charged.
But never charged. And he very much was, and I think this has stuck with him ever since.
Do you remember what a talent he was, Barrymore?
I just want to pause for a second.
Oh my God.
I think we forget just how
He was
astonishing
brilliant.
he was.
He was brilliant.
Yeah, he really was.
Do you remember those early days when he'd go down to the producers and pick up their televisions and so? He was just incredible.
He was anarchic. And
I think, I don't know, this is just me guessing, but I always used to say, I bet he's got ADHD. In that he's got that brilliant, he's just got that brilliant, different way of thinking. It's just his energy was always bonkers, wasn't it?
I remember having a very odd experience with Michael Barrymore, where we interviewed him in ITV Towers on the South Bank, and it must have been around the time of the crisis, and I think I'd got the interview with him. And I remember him being escorted into a room by countless people. I don't know who they were. And there was a man, and he sat, it was like on about the 6th or 7th floor at ITV overlooking the Thames. And he sat in a corner, and I was setting up my kit and what have you. And I went to interview him. And as I went to interview him, he was just crying.
Oh.
He was just sat in the window crying, and I sort of turned
suffered very badly with depression.
Really badly. And I turned to a
Very
representative and said, does it, and they asked for 5 minutes, and I came back. And at the end of it, he was so kind, he said, thank you for allowing me the time to sort my shit out.
Did he?
Yeah. So
When was this? Was this around the time?
Must have been around the time.
I mean, my God, this
20
poor
years ago.
man.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
It's been hanging over his head. But God, look at all of the people in this. The father of that poor boy.
Oh my God.
I mean, what a terrible night that was.
So I really, hopefully this will provide some closure and some clarity.
How on earth have they discovered this so
20
years later?
I don't know. There's nothing more in the story other than that, other than the news that he has been arrested.
Oh
and I'm
my
sure we'll
God,
hear
how
more.
does Barrymore feel today?
Yeah.
Yeah, because his life was completely.
Yeah.
And do you remember, of course, he was married, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Very, very married. He was married for 20 years.
Oh, that's
And then he
right.
came out as gay.
That's right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely
And his
right.
wife was also his manager.
Yeah. He always stood out on television when I was down at my nan's because he was about the
So
most anarchic thing on television. He was the most anarchic thing on
He
television.
really was. Oh, what a tragic story for all concerned.
It's only me. Let's not forget Barrymore's sexuality was outed by the press, then harassed and basically tried in the media for this incident. Career left
Was
in ruins.
it? Was he outed in the press?
Didn't remember.
Cheryl Barrymore,
that's
that was right. Yeah.
Anne Murray, police, 20 years late. Could argue that.
You know what? At least we've moved on with that. You're not allowed to out anyone anymore in the press, are you?
Well, I'm slightly concerned about what were the rules around the Sarah Everard case. I mean, how's that? I was amazed how quickly they named him.
I was worried about that because
It does worry
what
me.
worried me about that was that night when the newspapers named the police officer and showed a photograph of him. Sky News lawyers had made the decision to black out the name on the front papers, black out because they worried it might affect the case.
Well, that's what I thought. I mean, I must admit.
Because how can you have a jury now?
Yeah, I mean,
that
you
are-
wonder if his defence will ask, how can we have an impartial defence? Well, don't even go there. I'm only sharing this because we talked about it yesterday, and I'm aware that we're kind of strapped for time this end because we've got some meetings and interviews to do. I just wanted to share with you the details of the cop who was guarding the Sarah Everard
This is so awful.
crime scene. This is a story that is getting coverage, but isn't getting enough coverage.
Why isn't it?
Well,
Is it because
possibly because it's so utterly unbelievable and unpalatable that people are just so turned off by it. But I think the reason
I
it's
feel
important.
for the family if it goes everywhere,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's really important that we know what's going on.
Well, I
with
think
local
what's
police.
important about it is that it, is it being used as a springboard to interrogate the atmosphere and attitude that could be, not always is, endemic within parts of the police force. But he sent a meme, and the meme was a 6-step guide from abduction to murder.
And you don't need to know any more than that.
I think that's as much as you need to know.
And he sent this on a
to
WhatsApp
7 other
group,
people.
7 other people.
And as I said yesterday, okay, so someone who was sent it reported him, but it makes you wonder.
Oh my God! It does something physical to me, this story. It's so chilling. I don't want I mean, the thing is now you can't protect your girls from anything. I don't want my girls to know this. Because it's like already they're going to say you're not even safe with the policeman.
How did they all react?
I mean, how do we say to our girls today, if you feel scared, call the police, flag down a police car, run to get the police, ask somebody to call the police?
And the reason I think a story like this is important, though distressing, is that it's another subcategory of not just saying, yes, of course, it's so rare what happened to Sarah Everard, so rare, but attitudes and sort of the moral compass of people isn't a rare thing. And that's what worries me about this. We have to look at what is the climate like, what is the mood music like within certain parts and sections
well, it's
of
like
the
you
police.
said, you know, Faith said, what do the other people say in the WhatsApp group? I don't think we know that, but it was somebody from that WhatsApp group reported him.
It.
But the fact that he was comfortable enough to send that to 7 other colleagues. I mean, do we know they were colleagues or people
we
they
don't
knew?
know. We just don't know. No.
But you know, and then you're comfortable enough that all those other people are kind of like going to be thinking a little like that, and all the people that they know. It was.
Nikki O'Keefe Pretty's bill has passed.
No, it hasn't.
There we go. That was easily done.
It hasn't.
Yeah, well,
what, the one stopping?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to look into. Yeah, we'll have to have a little read through on that and the finer details. I mean, a lot of people very, very concerned about that. And I think the final story was here. I just want to quickly ask a very quick binary question. Johnson is coming under fire for increasing our defence, increasing our nuclear capacity, and he's also coming under fire at the same time for keeping negotiations and business relationships going with China. Should we still deal with China?
That's too big a question now, right at the end.
Well, that's why I thought I'd just leave us all with this to think about. Should
we could talk about it tomorrow.
Deal with China or not? Have a think about it.
Have a think about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow because we've both got quite strong views on the nuclear thing.
Very strong views on the nuclear thing.
But you've got to try and guess what they are because we might surprise you with what our views are. So let's talk about it tomorrow. Do you want
to? So we've got 3 new members.
Yeah, let's do a. Okay. So let me just explain what happens now in case you're new to here. So first of all, make sure you hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe and notification bell. And if this is your first time to the channel, have a look round. There's so much going on here. Food, mental health, gardening, reviews, movie and TV, and lots of lives. So hit the subscribe button. It's really lovely to have you here with us.
And happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Happy blooming St. Patrick's Day. And what happens at this part of the morning is that Mark and I sing. So we really do highly recommend that you leave. Because what we do is we sing to the new members, to the family guest area. We sing a welcome song.
It's horrendous.
And it's supposed to be a bad song. Think Phoebe in Friends. I've got a bag here that I've never had before.
A bag?
It's just arrived.
What, on your face?
I've got like a bag. Is it because I'm heading towards 60?
Is it a bag for life?
It's a bag for life.
I think it might be.
I love that.
Sarah Bockett. Yes, Sarah Bockett, not Sarah Beckett. Thank you.
Sarah Bockett. No, Beckett.
Bockett. No, Sarah Bockett. Specifically, they've just said it's Sarah Bockett.
Can we do it in an Irish jig way for
They might not be Irish.
St. Patrick's.
Just because it's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, but...
Okay, well, let me turn this off.
Let's sing it. We're going to sing your welcome song. Some of them might be Irish. Is it somebody's birthday we've missed? Ezzy, hi, I'm from Ireland. Can I get a shout out? I'm from Ireland. I often don't get to make these due to uni, but on Easter break, Ezzy Esme. Mwah! Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Hang on, I've just, my computer's just gone a bit mad.
Is it because everybody's searching for St. Patrick's Day?
Possibly. Go!
Welcome. I can't hear it.
Catherine Preston, Catherine Preston, Catherine Preston, welcome. Catherine Preston, welcome, welcome. Catherine Preston, welcome. Wait. Sarah Bucket, Sarah Bucket, Sarah Bucket, Sarah Bucket, welcome, Sarah Bucket.
Welcome to Sarah Bucket, welcome to Sarah Bucket.
Heather Rooney,
Heather Rooney, Heather, Heather. I think I've gone Scottish. Heather Rooney,
That was a bit Game of Thronesy there. Welcome, Heather Rooney.
Oh God. Sorry about that, but as we do always give a warning that it is pretty shit.
Yeah, it's meant to be shit. What we don't want you to think is that we're doing that wanting you to respect us. The last thing we expect is respect.
We don't even want it. We don't expect it and we don't want it.
No. My stomach is rumbling
I'll
because
tell
of
you
this.
what, I've gone too far too soon.
Yeah, I think you might
I
have
might
done.
need to lie down.
Group hug, everyone. Stay safe today, guys. We'll see you
And
tonight.
don't forget, if you're over 50,
Yeah, I'm gonna
if you're
book in.
50, he can book now. I'm going to make you do it now.
Two things. For the members area, God almighty. It's the live cook-along. We'll try and think of something Irish for me to do in the kitchen tonight, though it'll be a surprise. And we will be responding to the Caroline Flack documentary later tonight.
Yeah,
And if
we'll see you live after the documentary.
And if you haven't, go over. Nanny Di is absolutely fine. No Nanny Dis were hurt in the making of last night's vlog. But if you want to see what happened, go and check it out.
And you know what is on this Sunday, Mark? The new series of Line of Duty. Everyone's getting really excited.
Oh, are
so
they?
I think we should watch that and review that.
Are we the only people in the country who haven't seen it?
What's White Tiger, Faith?
It's a
on Netflix?
movie. It's a movie. It's a big movie. Yeah, no, I'd like to see that. Just literally haven't got like 2.5 hours at the moment to be able to commit.
See you later, Emma.
Yeah.
See you guys. See you in the.
Have a lovely day.
See you tonight. Bye. Bye.